For more on how the rest of the world has been reacting to those U.S. airstrikes, we can bring in Pierre Vimont, a senior fellow at Carnegie Europe and a former French ambassador to the U.S., former ambassador to the EU, and former chief of staff to 3 former French foreign ministers. Pierre, thank you so much and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So I'd like to begin with the news that the UN Security Council has announced it plans to meet later today, this at the request of Iran, to discuss those U.S. airstrikes. So what can we expect to happen?
I don't think we have to expect much from a meeting of the UN Security Council for the time being, because, of course, the US is a permanent member of the UN Security Council. And more than anything else, there will be condemnation, there will be calls for de-escalation, but I think nothing will come out of this UN Security Council. It is important for the Security Council to meet, but don't expect any effective action coming out of this meeting, I fear.
Now, as we heard in that last report, there's been lots of international condemnation, even from allies of the United States, calls for de-escalation. In all of this, what is France's position?
Well, France's position has been very much in line with what all the other European nations have been saying, namely Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. I think that is obvious for all of them. But what is necessary now is to get back to the negotiating table. It's to find ways of de-escalating and bringing back everybody at the table. This is really what it's all about. This is what the 3 foreign ministers from France, Great Britain, Germany, plus the High Representative from the European Union said yesterday, as they met or Friday rather, as they met in Geneva with their Iranian counterpart. But we have seen that nothing much has come out of this. So really what I think now we need to find, if we really want to bring back diplomacy into this international playground, I would say, is to find a way of face saving for Iran, find very concrete and practical way to bring everybody back to the negotiating table. But this is going to be rather difficult, because what is at the heart of the negotiation as they went on for the last 2 or 3 months was about the future of the Iranian nuclear program. And there you have a complete opposite position, namely Iran wants to find a way of going on with its nuclear program, at least with regard to the whole issue of enrichment process that they want to keep. And the other side, the Europeans, the Americans, of course, Israel, want to get rid altogether of the whole nuclear program. So even if we manage to get Iran back to the negotiating table, there is still strong differences of view that will not be easy to handle.
Now, the U.S. strikes, they appeared to take everyone by surprise, and it was certainly a huge gamble by Washington. Do you think it will pan out how they hope it will, or are we heading into a wider conflict in the region?
Well, at least from what we have heard from all the American leaders, the U.S. president, his defense secretary, others in the last few hours, they are insisting time and again on the fact that for them, these strikes that took place during this night are a one-off operation. It's about getting rid of the Iranian nuclear program and not starting a war. They want to avoid that at all costs, and they have been repeating that time and again. Now, the problem is that the outcome of those strikes doesn't belong to the American side. It is for the Iranians to decide what will be the follow-up to these strikes. And for the time being, what we hear from the Iranian side is that they seem quite ready to strike back and to find ways of retaliation against what happened. So it is a risk here of everybody pulling into a conflict that at least the Americans would like to avoid at all costs.
Prior to this, analysts were saying that the only one who could maybe put the brakes on it was Washington, but now they've chosen to get involved. The Iranian foreign minister has said that he is going to speak with Putin, speak with Russia on Monday. So I guess my question at this point is there a role that Moscow can play in de-escalating this? We know that Trump and Putin do talk on the telephone.
Russia is in a very difficult position, stuck between a stone and a hard place. They're an ally to Iran, even a strong partner. They have a security partnership together, which doesn't involve any kind of mutual assistance, but at least calls for each side of this partnership, namely Russia and Iran, to support the other side in diplomatic negotiations. Then, at the same time, Russia doesn't want to lose the diplomatic track they have started with President Trump and his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, on the whole issue of Ukraine. And they want to keep that track open. So it's a difficult diplomatic game for Russia. And think about that. The Europeans also have said very publicly in the last few days that they didn't consider Russia as an honest broker on this issue. So I don't know if Russia at the end of the day will be able to play a useful role, but other partners could try. Turkey has said that it could join in. The Europeans also have a long expertise on this issue because they are the ones who launched the whole process of the negotiation on the Iranian nuclear program as early as 2003. Nearly more than 20 years ago. And they have been discussing time and again this issue of the Iranian nuclear program, so they know all the details. The real issue, in my opinion, is that whoever managed to be a mediator on that issue will need to have very creative diplomacy. It has to come up with some new ideas that helps for face saving on both sides and for some concrete steps that can be useful to relaunch discussion. And one of the steps, in my opinion, would be maybe to convince both sides and certainly the Israeli side to accept the ceasefire.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to cut you in there, but we've run out of time, so we're going to have to leave it there. But thank you so much for sharing your analysis with us. That's Pierre Vimont, a senior fellow at Carnegie Europe.